Most of us enter relationships seeking completion, desperately hoping another person will fill the empty spaces within us. We grasp and cling, negotiate and demand, turning love into a transaction and intimacy into a battlefield. But what if I told you that every relationship, whether it brings ecstasy or agony, whether it lasts a lifetime or shatters in a moment, is actually a perfectly designed vehicle for your spiritual liberation? What if the very person who triggers your deepest wounds, who mirrors your ugliest patterns, who challenges every story you tell yourself about who you are, is actually your greatest teacher in disguise? The relationships that bind us can become the very keys to our freedom, but only when we stop trying to get something from them and start asking what they're here to teach us. This journey from attachment to liberation, from need to love, from prison to freedom, this is the sacred curriculum hidden within every human connection. When I first met my guru in India, I carried with me 40 years of relationship patterns that had nothing to do with love and everything to do with need. I was the Harvard professor who needed to be seen as brilliant, the spiritual seeker who needed to be admired for my insights, the man who needed women to validate his worth. I had turned every relationship into a complex negotiation where I would give what I thought others wanted in exchange for what I desperately needed: approval, security, the feeling that I mattered. This is the prison most of us live in without even knowing it. We enter each relationship with an invisible contract written in the language of our wounds. We say, "I will love you if you make me feel safe. I will commit to you if you never leave me. I will be vulnerable with you if you promise not to hurt me." But these aren't relationships. They're elaborate defense systems disguised as love. The person you're trying to change, the one who doesn't love you the way you want to be loved, the one who triggers your jealousy or abandonment fears, they're not broken. They're not doing relationships wrong. They're simply not reading from your script. And thank God for that, because your script was written by your ego, not by your soul. Your ego believes that love means getting your needs met. It believes that a good relationship is one where you feel secure, where you're never challenged, where you can remain exactly as you are while someone else adapts to fit your requirements. But the ego's version of love is actually a form of spiritual sleep. It keeps you small, keeps you defended, keeps you from growing into the magnificent being you came here to become. Real love, the kind that sets you free, requires you to show up without an agenda. It asks you to meet another soul without trying to extract anything from them. It invites you to love not because of what you get, but because love is your true nature. This kind of love doesn't seek completion in another person, because it recognizes that you are already whole. But here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop trying to get something from your relationships, they become capable of giving you everything you truly need, not the everything your ego wants, validation, security, constant pleasure, but the everything your soul craves, opportunities to grow, to heal, to serve, to love without conditions. The path from prison to freedom begins with a simple recognition. Every person in your life is a mirror. Not a flattering mirror that shows you only your good side, but a spiritual mirror that reflects back the parts of yourself you need to see, heal, and integrate. The person who makes you feel most insecure is showing you where you abandon yourself. The one who triggers your anger is revealing the places where you haven't forgiven yourself. The one who seems to withhold love is teaching you to find that love within your own heart. This isn't psychology. This is sacred geometry. The universe is so intelligent, so compassionate, that it places exactly the right people in your path to help you wake up. But most of us are so busy trying to change the mirror that we miss the gift it's offering us. I remember a woman who came to me in tears, devastated because her husband had left her for someone else. She wanted to know how to win him back, how to make him see what a mistake he was making. But as we talked, something else emerged. She realized that for 20 years, She had been trying to earn his love by being the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect hostess. She had abandoned herself so completely in service of his approval that she had forgotten who she was beneath all that performance. Her husband's departure wasn't the tragedy, it was the wake-up call. The mirror of their relationship was showing her that she had been living in a prison of her own making, trading her authentic self for the illusion of security. His leaving forced her to confront the question she had been avoiding her entire life. Who am I when I'm not trying to be what someone else wants me to be? This is how relationships become vehicles for freedom. They strip away our pretenses, challenge our strategies, and reveal the places where we've been living in illusion. The person who ruins your life is often the one who saves your soul. But here's what makes this process so challenging. Love's curriculum is not gentle. It doesn't ask permission before it begins its work. It doesn't wait until you feel ready to grow. It shows up in the form of the difficult mother-in-law, the distant partner, the friend who betrays your trust. It arrives disguised as everything you don't want, carrying gifts you don't know you need. The relationships that hurt us most are often the ones that teach us most. They force us to confront our deepest fears, our most cherished illusions, our most defended places. They ask us to love when we want to withdraw, to stay open when we want to close, to forgive when we want to punish. They take us to the edge of our comfort zone and ask us to jump. This is why spiritual traditions have always spoken of love as a fire. It burns away everything that is not essential, everything that is not true. It consumes our masks, our strategies, our attempts to control and manipulate. What remains after love's fire has done its work is not the person you thought you were, but the person you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning and fear. The mother who never showed you the affection you craved, she's teaching you to find that affection within yourself. The partner who can't commit, they're showing you where you haven't fully committed to your own growth. The friend who judges your choices, they're reflecting back the places where you judge yourself. Each difficult relationship is a kind of spiritual boot camp designed to strengthen your capacity to love without conditions, to remain open when everything in you wants to close, to find peace in the midst of chaos. These relationships don't feel like gifts when you're in the middle of them. They feel like punishments, like cosmic mistakes, like evidence that you're unworthy of real love. But time reveals their true nature. The person who broke your heart taught you that your heart was bigger than you knew. The one who abandoned you showed you how to stand on your own 2 feet. The one who criticized you relentlessly helped you stop seeking approval from outside yourself. They were not your enemies. They were your teachers, your gurus, your guides home to yourself. The hardest part of this journey is learning to die to the story you've been telling yourself about who you are in relationship. We all carry these stories, intricate narratives about how we love, how we should be loved, what we deserve, what we fear. These stories feel so real, so much a part of us that we mistake them for truth. But they're not truth. They're just stories, and most of them were written when we were very young, very hurt, and very afraid. I spent decades living inside the story of the brilliant professor who needed to be seen as wise, the spiritual seeker who needed to be admired for his insights, the man who needed to rescue wounded women to feel worthy of love. These stories ran my relationships like invisible puppet strings, determining how I showed up, what I said, how I reacted. I thought this was just who I was. I didn't realize I was living in a prison of my own making. The story might be, I'm the one who gives too much, or I'm the one who gets abandoned, or I'm the one who can't trust. These stories feel so familiar, so much like home, that we keep attracting people in situations that confirm them. We become addicted to the drama of our own narrative, even when it brings us nothing but suffering. But here's the beautiful secret. You are not your story. You are the awareness that watches the story unfold. You are the space in which all these dramas play out. You are the consciousness that remains untouched by the endless cycles of attachment and loss, love and betrayal, union and separation. When you begin to recognize that your story is just a story, not a fact, not a destiny, not a limitation, something miraculous becomes possible. You can step outside the narrative and meet life fresh, without the burden of your past or the anxiety of your future. You can encounter another person without immediately casting them in a role from your drama. This death of the story doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual dissolving, like morning mist burning off in the sun. Each time you catch yourself trying to force someone into the role of savior or villain, each time you notice yourself reacting from an old wound instead of responding from presence, you're dying a little to the story and being born a little more into truth. The person who refuses to play their assigned role in your drama is actually your greatest blessing. They're forcing you to see that the story was never real, that you've been relating to your projection of them rather than to who they actually are. This is why our most triggering relationships are often our most transformative ones. They shatter the illusion that we know who we are and who others are. When the story dies, something magnificent is revealed. The soul of the other person, and your own soul as well. Without the filter of your projections, your needs, your fears, you can finally see the divine being standing before you. This is perhaps the most profound shift possible in human relationship, moving from personality to soul, from drama to dharma, from need to love. Most of us have never truly seen another person. We've seen our mother, but not the soul who happened to be playing the role of mother. We've seen our partner, but not the consciousness that chose to dance with us in this lifetime. We've seen our children, but not the ancient wisdom beings who came through us to teach us how to love. When you begin to see people as souls rather than personalities, everything changes. The person who seemed so difficult, so impossible, so wrong for you suddenly reveals themselves as a perfect expression of consciousness, playing their role in the cosmic drama with exquisite precision. You realize that, they're not here to make you happy, they're here to help you wake up. This doesn't mean you become passive or allow others to treat you poorly. It means you respond from a deeper place, from love rather than fear, from wisdom rather than reactivity. You can set boundaries from love. You can say no from love. You can even leave a relationship from love. But you do it all without making the other person wrong, without turning them into the villain of your story. The soul sees beyond the personality's wounds, beyond the ego's defenses, beyond the temporary roles we're all playing. It recognizes that the person triggering your abandonment issues is actually a bodhisattva in disguise, volunteering to help you heal this ancient wound. The one who seems so selfish is teaching you to find the generosity in your own heart. The one who appears so closed is showing you how to remain open even when love isn't returned. This recognition doesn't happen through thinking or analyzing. It happens through a kind of spiritual seeing, a shift in perception that allows you to look through the personality to the essence beneath. It's like learning to see with X-ray vision, but instead of seeing bones, you see souls. Once you've learned to see the soul in another, acceptance becomes not just possible, but inevitable. You can't fight with a soul. You can't try to change a soul. You can only love a soul exactly as it is, exactly as it chooses to express itself in this lifetime. This is the alchemy of acceptance, the mysterious process by which resistance transforms into embrace, judgment transforms into understanding, and suffering transforms into grace. It's not the acceptance of resignation, the kind that says, I give up. It's the acceptance of recognition, the kind that says, I see you, I honor you, I love you as you are. Most of us have been taught that acceptance means becoming a doormat, allowing others to walk all over us. But real acceptance is actually the most powerful force in the universe. It's the recognition that this person, this situation, this moment is exactly what's needed for your growth and awakening. It doesn't mean you like it or want it to continue forever. It means you stop fighting with reality and start dancing with it. When you truly accept someone, you free them to be themselves. You release them from the prison of your expectations, your projections, your need for them to be different. And in that freedom, they often transform, not because you're trying to change them, but because love creates the space for natural evolution. But here's the deeper secret. When you accept another completely, you also accept yourself completely. The judgment you've been projecting onto them was actually judgment you were carrying about yourself. The love you give them freely returns to you multiplied. The freedom you offer them becomes your own liberation. This is the true art of relationship, learning to be a sacred witness to another's journey without trying to direct it, control it, or fix it. It's learning to hold space for someone's pain without taking it on as your own. It's discovering that you can care deeply without carrying the weight of another's choices. Sacred witnessing means seeing without judging, listening without trying to solve, loving without trying to change. It's the recognition that everyone is walking their own path, learning their own lessons, growing at their own pace. Your job is not to speed up their process or save them from their struggles. Your job is to love them through whatever they're experiencing. This doesn't mean you become emotionally detached or spiritually superior. It means you learn to be present with whatever is arising without immediately trying to fix it, change it, or escape from it. You become a loving presence in the midst of whatever storm is raging, a calm center that others can feel even when they can't find their own. The person who is angry, hurt, confused, or lost doesn't need your advice or your solutions. They need your presence. They need to feel that they're not alone in their struggle, that there's someone who can witness their pain without being destroyed by it, someone who can hold space for their healing without trying to force it. This is perhaps the greatest gift you can offer another human being, the gift of being truly seen, truly heard, truly witnessed without judgment. It's the gift of unconditional presence, the knowledge that no matter what they're going through, no matter how they're showing up, they are fundamentally acceptable, fundamentally lovable, fundamentally worthy of compassion. When you truly learn to love someone, you discover one of the most beautiful paradoxes of human existence. The closer you get to another soul, the more you realize you must let them go. This isn't the letting go of indifference or the distance of fear. It's the sacred space that true intimacy requires, the recognition that love and freedom are not opposites, but dance partners in the cosmic ballet of relationship. Most of us confuse love with possession, intimacy with control, caring with carrying. We think that if we really love someone, we should know where they are every moment, what they're thinking, what they need. We should be able to predict their moods, prevent their pain, and protect them from the very experiences that are here to teach them. But this kind of love is actually a form of spiritual violence. It denies the other person their own journey, their own relationship with life, their own connection to the divine. Real intimacy requires what I call intimate distance, the ability to be completely present with someone while giving them complete freedom to be themselves. It's learning to love someone so much that you're willing to let them make their own mistakes, walk their own path, even suffer their own necessary suffering. It's the recognition that your love for them is not dependent on their choices, their growth, or their reciprocation. This paradox used to torture me. How could I love someone deeply without wanting to merge with them completely? How could I care about someone's well-being without trying to control their decisions? How could I be intimate without being possessive? The answer came to me slowly, through years of watching my own attachments create suffering for both myself and others. The secret is understanding that you are not loving another person. You are loving the divine consciousness that is expressing itself through that person. You are not in relationship with their personality. You are in relationship with their soul. And souls, by their very nature, are free. They cannot be possessed, controlled, or contained. They can only be loved, honored, and witnessed. When you love someone as consciousness rather than as a personality, you free them to be exactly who they are in each moment. You don't need them to be happy for you to be happy. You don't need them to be peaceful for you to be peaceful. You don't need them to love you back in order to love them fully. Your love becomes a gift with no strings attached, a celebration of their existence rather than a demand for their reciprocation. This is perhaps the most challenging aspect of conscious relationship, learning to care without carrying, to love without clinging, to be deeply connected without being emotionally dependent. It requires a level of spiritual maturity that most of us are still growing into. But when you taste this kind of love, even for a moment, you understand that it's the only love that truly satisfies, the only love that sets both people free. The beautiful truth is that when you give someone complete freedom to be themselves, they often choose to be closer to you than when you were trying to hold on to them. When you love without conditions, you create the space for authentic intimacy to flourish. When you release your grip on how they should show up, they can finally show up as they truly are. This brings us to perhaps the most practical aspect of this entire journey. Understanding that every single interaction you have is an opportunity to practice consciousness, compassion, and love. Your relationship with the grocery store clerk, the difficult neighbor, the family member who pushes all your buttons, these are all chances to strengthen your spiritual muscles, to choose love over fear, presence over reactivity. Most of us think of spiritual practice as something we do on a meditation cushion or in a church. But the real spiritual practice is in the kitchen with your partner when you're both tired and triggered. It's in the car with your teenager who's pushing every boundary. It's in the conversation with your aging parent who's losing their memory. It's in the moment when your friend disappoints you and you have to choose between resentment and forgiveness. Every relationship is a dojo, a training ground for consciousness. The person who cuts you off in traffic is offering you a chance to practice patience. The friend who cancels plans at the last minute is giving you an opportunity to practice non-attachment. The partner who doesn't communicate the way you want them to is teaching you to find peace within yourself rather than seeking it from others. This doesn't mean you become passive or allow others to treat you poorly. It means you respond from awareness rather than reactivity, from love rather than fear, from presence rather than past conditioning. You can set boundaries from love. You can speak your truth from love. You can even end relationships from love. But you do it all as practice, as service, as an offering of your highest self. The practice is not about becoming perfect or never getting triggered. It's about catching yourself more quickly when you slip into old patterns, returning to love more easily when you've fallen into fear, and treating each mistake as a chance to begin again with greater wisdom and compassion. When you approach relationship as spiritual practice, you stop expecting other people to be your teachers and start recognizing that you are here to be a teacher as well, not a preacher or a guru, but a living example of what it looks like to love without conditions, to remain open in the face of challenge, to choose consciousness over unconsciousness in each moment. This is the ultimate gift of conscious relationship. It transforms you from someone who is seeking love to someone who is expressing love, from someone who needs to be saved to someone who is here to serve. You realize that you didn't come into this life to find the perfect person who would complete you. You came to learn how to love imperfect people perfectly, starting with yourself. The final frontier in this journey is discovering that love without conditions is not just possible, it's your natural state. Beneath all the stories, all the wounds, all the strategies and defenses, you are love itself. Not someone who sometimes feels love, but someone who is love embodied, love in human form, love walking around in the world disguised as a person. This recognition changes everything. You stop trying to get love from others because you realize you are love. You stop trying to prove your worth because you understand that your worth is inherent, unchanging, absolute. You stop trying to fix others because you see that they, like you, are already whole, already perfect, already love itself, pretending to be lost. When you know yourself as love, you can love others without need, without attachment, without the desperate hunger that characterizes most human relationships. You can love your partner when they're loving and when they're not. You can love your children when they're grateful and when they're rebellious. You can love your parents when they're supportive and when they're critical. You can even love your enemies because you understand that they too are love in disguise. This is not a feeling, it's a recognition. It's not an emotion that comes and goes. It's the ground of being itself. It's not something you achieve through effort. It's what you discover when you stop trying to be anything other than what you already are. The person who hurts you is love pretending to be hurt. The one who abandons you is love pretending to be afraid. The one who betrays you is love pretending to be lost. This doesn't excuse their behavior or mean you should accept harmful treatment. It means you can respond to their actions from love rather than react from pain, hold them accountable for its own love rather than punish them from anger. When you truly understand that there is only love, love expressing itself as joy, love expressing itself as fear, love expressing itself as confusion, love expressing itself as wisdom, you can meet every person and every situation with the same fundamental recognition. This is love, appearing as this form, offering this teaching, providing this opportunity for growth. So here we are at the end of our exploration together, though really it's just the beginning. Everything I've shared with you is not meant to be understood intellectually, but lived experientially. The path from attachment to freedom, from need to love, from separation to unity, this is not a journey you take once and complete. It's a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice, a lifetime of returning again and again to the truth of who you are. Your relationships, every single one of them, are invitations to come home to yourself. They are mirrors reflecting your unconscious patterns, altars where you can practice devotion, crucibles where your ego can be transformed into love. They are not obstacles to your spiritual growth. They are your spiritual growth disguised as human encounters. The person sitting across from you at breakfast, the friend who betrays your trust, the stranger who shows you unexpected kindness, they are all aspects of the same consciousness, all expressions of the same love, all participants in the same sacred dance of awakening. We are all just walking each other home, helping each other remember who we really are beneath the costumes we wear, the roles we play, the stories we tell ourselves about separation and difference. There is no graduation from this curriculum, no final achievement, no permanent state of enlightenment. There is only this moment, this breath, this opportunity to choose love over fear, presence over past, connection over separation. There is only this person in front of you, this chance to see them as they truly are, this invitation to love them as the universe loves them, completely, unconditionally, eternally. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight. Love is not something you find in relationship. Love is something you bring to relationship. You are not here to be completed by another. You are here to offer your completeness as a gift. You are not here to be saved. You are here to be a savior, a servant, a vessel through which love can flow into the world. Every relationship is a vehicle for freedom, but the freedom is not from relationship. It's freedom within relationship, freedom to love without attachment, freedom to care without carrying, freedom to be intimate without losing yourself. This is the ultimate teaching, the final gift, the sacred promise. When you stop trying to get love from your relationships and start bringing love to your relationships, you discover that you are already everything you've been seeking. You are already home.